Hi, my name is Jeff Greco, and I'm one of the founding members of Greco Neyland PC. Let's talk today about federal narcotics violations, specifically those found under 21 U.S.C. 841. Several things that I want to talk about, one of which is bail issues, conspiracy issues, and mandatory minimums. If a loved one of yours or a family member or even a friend has been arrested and you are looking to hire a federal criminal defense attorney, the first thing that anybody wants in a case like this is to get out of jail. In order for that to happen, a judge must find that there is a set of conditions or a combination of conditions that exist which will overcome the presumption. In a presumption case, which most narcotics cases are, there is a rebuttable presumption that the defendant poses a flight risk and poses a danger to the community. So those two presumptions must be overcome at a bail hearing in order for the judge to grant bail. Now, also, most criminal cases in federal court, especially most narcotics cases, come with what is known as mandatory minimum sentences. This means that if you are found guilty, the mandatory minimum allowed by law is the lowest that any federal judge can sentence you, regardless of how good a person you may be or how many good things are displayed during your sentencing. For B1A cases, there's a 10-year mandatory minimum. For B1B cases, there's a 5-year mandatory minimum. And if you're charged under a narcotics violation subsection B1C, there isn't a mandatory minimum. And while mandatory minimums are very, very stressful situations and very frightening situations if you find yourself in, there are ways to get around it. And despite what most people think, you don't have to snitch to get away from a mandatory minimum. Let's talk about conspiracy issues. In most narcotics cases, the government will file a conspiracy to distribute narcotics or a conspiracy to manufacture narcotics. And while it sounds very complex, essentially what it means is that two or more people conspire together to violate the laws of the United States of America. The reason why it is a very common case that is filed is because to prove a conspiracy doesn't take very much. All it takes is that two people at some point in time agreed to participate in a scheme that ultimately ended with violations of narcotics laws. Now, the reason why this is so dangerous is because you may not be responsible for the end result. You may have only been responsible for a very small part of the overall case, and now you're on the hook for the entire thing. Federal narcotics cases are very complex cases. You need to speak with a criminal defense attorney who specifically handles federal narcotics cases and has done so for a long time. Give us a call today at 212-951-1300 or visit us on the web at newyorkcriminallawyer.com. As someone who has both tried and handled federal cases in every district in New York, we can certainly help you and see what we can do to help your loved one get out of the jam that they find themselves in.